Welcome to the 2018 Snake Alley Criterium. Easily one of the hardest crits in the country, as it basically plays out like a cross race. Not many people finish. There's little groups everywhere. The race is only 45 to 50 minutes, so it's super quick, but it feels like a lifetime when you're out there. Here we are heading into lap 1. It says it's 114 degrees out, but that's just because we were sitting in the sun. But it was extremely hot as always. Hot enough that they actually opened up a feed zone coming out of the Snake, so people could get water poured on them and cool off as much as you could. I think it was about 95, 96 degrees for the whole time and really humid. You could hear someone just blew up a tubular lap 1 going into the Snake. And what makes this course so challenging isn't even the Snake, it's the run into the Snake. It's uphill the whole way. It's pretty steep too, and it bottlenecks. It goes from 3 or 4 lanes into a single pretty narrow road going up the Snake, and there's not many paths. The inside's the steepest part, right, kind of where I'm right now, so it's best to go outside. But you can see all the bricks are laid by hand, so they're kind of pointing in all different directions, which your tire can get caught in a little rut. Right here is going through the feed zone. And this is easily the hardest part of the course. You come out of the Snake, your heart rate's pinned, your legs feel like they've got nothing to push, and you're just trying to make that right-hand turn right here to start the descent and get a little rest. They actually changed the course this year. Coming out of the Snake in years past, it's gone right. You take a right and it starts the downhill and connects up right here with this left-hand turn. But this year they tortured us a little more and had us go another block up, so that was really painful. It wasn't very fun. And that made the descent a little more technical. You can see it's just single file as we rip through these turns. And the road's really rough. You can see they've got orange paint everywhere for potholes and manhole covers, and it's rough. So the lines are limited on what you can take safely without trying to flat, as there's no free laps in this race to make it even more challenging. And so that was just a run through quick of the first lap. I wanted to show you guys an entire lap so you can see exactly what the course is like, as there's kind of a lot going on. Here we are ripping through the start finish. And this is a race where you either have it or you don't. You're not going to fake it and end up winning on accident. It's the toughest man almost always wins this race. It seems like it's just so difficult, and the Snake is hard every single lap. We did a total of 20 laps, and even though it's only 45 minutes, it's just brutal. You're on the rivet the whole time. You're cross-eyed going down the descent. You can see our power's well into the 500s up the whole Snake, and you're just trying to make it across this out of the Snake and get to that right-hand turn. There's my teammate Spencer. We kind of all had different jobs. We were working for 3 different guys we thought had a chance. It was Scott, Dennis, and myself, and we had 6 guys total, and the other 3, which were Reese, Spencer, and Evan, their goal was kind of just to cover some early stuff and make sure Dennis, myself, and Scott didn't have to do too much work early on, and we could kind of hang out and watch the race unfold a little. And because last year, what we did, our team, we kind of just went balls to the wall in the first 4 to 5 laps, and we all ended up just blowing ourselves up, and none of us had anything left. So we tried to play it a little differently this year and be a little more calm but attentive at the beginning and kind of wait till the second half. And I believe it was lap 4 or 5. It was pretty early on that a group of 3 went up the road, and we actually had a guy in it, and it was with another guy from Texas Roadhouse, Danny Summerhill. He used to be on UHC, so he's a really strong rider. He was in the break the day before and got second in the road race. Here's Reese just blowing up after doing his job. He covered a bunch of attacks. But anyways, back to the break. It kind of went early on, and we had a guy in it, and Summerhill kind of just rode off, and he actually ended up soloing the whole race, which this race either comes, somebody either solos and wins, or it comes down to a sprint of like 8 or 9 guys. It's rarely do more than 20 guys finish this race. I think there were over 100 starters. There might have been like 110. I know it's a little smaller. In years past, it's been upwards of 140 guys. But it's super infamous. Everybody wants part in this race, as it's just famous. It's unlike any other crit in the country, and it's part of a good 4-day weekend here in Iowa. And for me, it's nice. I never get to race in Iowa, as I'm always just traveling and going to a lot of the bigger national level races. So it's always fun to come home and race in front of a bunch of people I know and race with a bunch of people that I used to race with and see them at the races. So it's always a good weekend. It's a hard weekend too. You can see people are getting water sprayed on them. And this, I'd taken a week off like 8 or 9 days before this weekend. So my top end, I was just getting killed coming out of the Snake. I just had nothing. I couldn't surge. I just had to diesel my way back on, and it's really hard too, because if somebody has a mechanical going into the Snake or in the Snake, or somebody flats or they blow up, it creates a gap, and the road's so twisty and windy that it makes it really hard for the guys behind that person to get around and catch back on to what's left of the group. But I mean, right here we're 13 minutes into the race, and if I had to guess, I'd say there's less than 40 people left in the race as it just blows up. And here, Summerhill's still off the front, so I kind of hit the front to set a nice pace up this lap to try to close the gap, maybe just a little, that Scott or Dennis could try to jump across. We're only 26 minutes in, and it's just brutal. Felt like I was over-geared every time up this thing. Even though I'm in like the low to mid-60s for cadence, it felt like I was doing like 30 each lap, because it's just so hot. You're just roasting on this climb. And there Scott goes, so I knew that was kind of my job. I wasn't feeling super hot. I didn't have great legs. Just a little tired. The day before the road race was really hard, so I was glad I was able to just do that and help Scott. As you can see, I'm just going backwards like a rock in a stream here. People are just blasting by. That was kind of all I had. I did not have much that day. But I caught back on and kind of rode what was left of the field. Scott stayed off the front he probably made it 2 or 3 laps before people chasing and jumping across. We eventually caught him, and he got reabsorbed back into this group, but Summerhill just put a massive gap into us. I think he ended up winning by over a minute. And Scott and Dennis and I were all pretty fried from trying to chase and get across. So I think our top guy was Scott, and he finished 9th. But here I am just in survival mode. I'm just trying to finish at this point. I've only ever finished this race one time, and it was in 2016, and it was the year I actually won it, so that's kind of funny. Last year I just blew up as well. So this year I was just like, I just want to finish this damn thing, even if I am off the back. But it's just brutal. Once you're out of that group, it's so hard just to keep riding hard on your own. There's just guys everywhere all over the road from being pulled. But I think I was like top 20-ish, I think. And here I am finishing up. So that was the 2018 Snake Alley Criterium.